everybody, and welcome to Two Up Top. It's myself, Gav Mack, Steven Cotton. How are you, dude?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Oh, shiny self, look at him there. And Alex Osborn downstairs. How are you, dude?
Very well, thank you very much. How are you, mon frere?
Not as hungover as I was yesterday, put it that way.
Okay.
Right then, let's go
Was
into...
it someone's birthday? Was it over the weekend?
It was, but I really and truly died the most painful death of my life. So I've had a pint today, but I'm going to be taking it easy for the rest of my life now if I have to deal with that, I swear to God. Oh dear.
Anyway. I had a few jars yesterday, so today it's just the Volvic.
We're all just getting older, boys. We just can't handle it. That's what it is.
That is exactly it. That's exactly it.
I never thought I'd ever come to this day. Things finished in the Premier League this weekend. There were
finished. He's only 28.
Relegated.
What are you on about?
Hey!
Get that in there.
Oh God, yeah. So teams got relegated. Teams survived the last day of the season. We saw happy, smiley Jack Grealish, and then all shattered a minute later. Oh, felt for him for a hot minute, but then he was all right. And then the top four was also dealt with, and the most important team came 8th in the Premier League. And we're going to start with those: Arsenal versus Watford. Arsenal 3, Watford 2. Well, this one was quite funny, this, because at 3-0 is party time. Is it going to be 6 or 7? And then the penalty just before half time, and it's like, oh, Watford might actually have a little bit of a prayer here, but it weren't to be.
Question for you. I know we'll get on to penalties and stuff later. Do you think your penalty was a little bit soft?
Yes.
Do you think that if you give those, you'll be giving 20 a game?
Yes.
I thought
and
that.
I'll tell you what makes me laugh. Load of jumped up Arsenal fans going, "Oh, it's Mike Dean against Arsenal all the time," because he went over and had a look at the VAR and it was overruled by it, and people were like, "Ah, well, yeah, he didn't want to give it 'cause it's Mike Dean." No, he didn't want to give it because weren't really
It's soft. Yeah, I mean, if you're the team it's given against, you'll be angry, and if you're the attacking team and it's not given for you, you'll be annoyed. It's one of them. I thought it was pretty soft.
What do you think, A-Dog?
Let's get my face in the frame first. I don't know, but I thought
you don't know.
It's
not a pen.
It's a clumsy challenge because he's gone in the back of him, but he's not gone in the back of him enough.
I'd be struggling to give a free kick for that.
Yeah, you've used the word challenge there, and I wouldn't even call it a challenge. There's just been contact. Oh well, it was given, and Aubameyang scored it.
And Watford are relegated. Banter. Tierney got his first league goal for Arsenal as well. It was a bit of a deflection, but I still claim that is his. Danny Welbeck. Now, he had a couple of opportunities to really change the game around. There was one where he did that little back heel. That would have made it 3 apiece.
Yeah, Danny Welbeck 5 years ago might have taken those chances, but
did he really need to do that? Could he not just take it out of his feet and drilled it top bin?
Possibly, but how much game time was the lad had in the last?
At that point, it was still about 15, 20 minutes.
No, I mean,
how much game time has Welbeck had himself played?
Gotcha. He's been dogged with injuries. Well, throughout his whole life, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's not match sharp. Before Watford scored, Aubameyang's second goal was, it's nice, wasn't it?
Pretty smooth. I like that.
Overhead kick.
Yeah, well, apparently the people going, "Oh, was there a nudge in the back beforehand? Should that have been a free kick to Watford?" No, there's nothing wrong with that for me. That was taken really nicely.
But like you said, 3-0. Arsenal showed a bit of a weak spine to let them back.
A weakness in Arsenal.
Yeah, I don't know, because David Luiz then decided to give away what now is a record 4 penalties for a single player. 4th penalty against them for a single player in the season.
5.
Is it 5?
5, yeah.
5. Most pens of the
it's
season.
even better. He's given away 5 penalties for Arsenal this season, which makes him, I don't know. He's not going to play much next year. We're looking at Mari and we're looking at Saliba as starting 2 next year, aren't we?
I would have thought so, but I'm going to say it again. Arsenal's most pressing need is in midfield. is the centre midfield is their most pressing need, and then they need to go out and buy a creative midfielder, a guy like Bruno Fernandes, because look at the difference he's made to Man United, and they need to get a better sort of more number 8, I'd say number 8/6 to go alongside
like
Xhaka.
the boxy sort of cover.
So those are their two most pressing areas of need, really. I think Arsenal played a 4 yesterday, didn't they? They played 4 at the back yesterday,
didn't they?
With Holding and Louise, and they were carved open. We were carved open quite often again, which shows that for me again, Rob Holding is not good enough. He won't be good enough, and Louise is he's only good in a 3. You can only play him in a 3-man defence for him to be any kind of effective. So
I think Rob Holding. I think Rob Holding's fine. Before his injury, he was doing major bits. He got injured, and it's just taking him time to come back. And it happened to him before. I think Rob Holding would be fine. But let's talk about Watford.
I was just about to say those exact words.
What have Watford got to do, man? Because they need savage changes from right at the top of the club, from ownership level down to the 11 boys that go out there every week. There's wholesale change needed at Watford.
Well, honestly, I don't think there was a single person that saw them sacking Pearson as thinking, "Oh, this might be a gamble." No one thought it was a gamble. Everyone thought this is suicide. There's 2 games left. Look where they were when he came in. He's changed that team around. He hasn't got much to work with, but he was getting some results. And to sack him two games left of the season while you're in the situation you are was suicide.
Criminal.
They need stability though as well. I know you're saying they need wholesale changes, but they need stability. They need somebody to be at the club for a good 3-4 years.
You can't with this ownership though.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah, but obviously changes of what got them into this position, because as we know, they've had 13 managers in the space of 5 years or something like that, isn't it? 5-6 years. And as Cotton said on a previous episode, when you change managers, that manager wants to bring in his own playing style and therefore with it his own players. And then when he gets sacked, you bring in another manager who's got a completely different playing style. Therefore, those players that were brought in don't suit that playing style. So you then bring a whole load of new players, and then you've got players who are confused, who've played under a different manager and a different style, and it just doesn't work. And eventually, this is the result of all of that. Because Watford have got some good players, we can agree on that, aren't they? Decore, he's a good player. Yeah. Ishmael Assar's a good player.
Will Hughes is
not a bad player. These are players
I mind a bit of like PK Firmino. I like him. I think he's all right.
They're going to get picked off. They're going to
get
teams in the Premier League are going to go and get these players for a fairly decent amount of money in terms of in terms of like not paying over the odds. And Watford are going to struggle. The same with Bournemouth, aren't they? I think when we get to the Bournemouth game, it's the same that's going to happen to them.
Gav, how many managers have Udinese had in the last 5 or 6 years? It's a similar story.
It's a very similar number. Yeah. Very similar number. So it's just the ownership at, is it, I can't remember the name. I can't remember. It begins with a G.
Is it an Italian dude?
It's Italian.
Yeah. So like they need to. I don't think they're going to be making much money. I think they need to just sell up and move on, because they're the Pozzos. That's it. Gino Pozzo. They are not benefiting the club whatsoever. Deeney to Sheffield United is a shout there from Deeks.
Deeney is one of those players that, if he didn't play for Watford, could you imagine him in the Premier League with anyone else?
Not really. I don't think he's like a crap version of Bayo back in Fenway. Right, let's move on to the next game. Watford versus.
Just don't get.
I've got Watford on the brain now.
Anytime soon.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you cheeky bastard. West Ham won. Aston Villa won. Nothing happened in this game until the last 5-6 minutes. Oh God! And I'll tell you what, honestly, Jack Grealish, when he scored that goal, I was elated for him, because just his face and how happy he was. He was like, "Oh my God, what have I just done here?" And
I tell you who shouldn't be happy about that goal in the slightest is Lucas Fabianski.
No. She imagine that was De Gea who did that.
Shouldn't be going in. It's chocolate wrists. Positioning was poor. There wasn't much movement on the ball, and Fabianski was moving all over the shop. It was like Saturday Night Fever. It was like Saturday Night Fever. He was genuinely couldn't decide where he was going, and it shouldn't have gone in, but it did. And like you said, I'm glad for him. I wanted Villa to stay up.
Yeah, me too. West Ham, they didn't lay back at all. I thought they would have their bellies tickled a little bit, but I actually appreciate how professional their approach was. You know, they could have easily put the kids out. They've got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. Well, and they did score a minute. What was it? Was it 80 seconds or something? If that.
Something yeah.
And
a bit of a goal, though, wasn't it?
Bit of a fluke goal, yeah, and it came off Grealish as well, didn't it?
Yeah. Of course, it did. That's how football works, isn't it? It works in strange little funny ways like that.
They haven't done anything wrong. They've closed. Yeah, they've gone to close Yarmolenko down. They've blocked the shot, and it's literally just looped 40 foot in the air and dropped over the keeper. I don't even think you can blame the keeper. You can't blame Reina for anything. It just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's very similar to that. We've seen highlights of it. The Germany goal against England in the World Cup 1990.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say I went around for that. I know you might have been, Alex, but I was a bit too young for that. No, I think what I did enjoy was that they waited until after the game.
Yeah,
they didn't. They weren't sure.
He said, "Not now, not
now,
not yet."
Wait a minute," he goes, and they all gathered round and they all just waited, and the final whistle went at the Emirates, and it was happy days for them. And it was just nice having a season where there's still things to wait for on the last day of the season, because the next game we're going to talk about is coming up after this.
But well done, Villa. Well done.
What are Everton?
And yeah, sorry, Cotton. Yeah, well done, Villa. Well done, Villa. Everton 1, Bournemouth 3. Bournemouth are going down despite picking up their first away win in 10 attempts.
Too little, too late.
Yeah.
Do you know? You say Everton though, right? I'll tell you what. The first opening parts of the game, they looked pretty bright. I thought Everton's goal was really, really well worked. I thought it was
me too.
Should Richarlison I can't say
Richarlison. Sean Connery.
The penalty was given for his handball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good, yeah. But yeah, obviously, so Everton scored first. Or did they score first? No, they didn't.
No,
Bournemouth went ahead.
Yeah, Bournemouth went ahead with the Richarlison. I don't know what he thinks he's doing there. I think he thinks he can reach it sort of there. But the ball, he hasn't. The ball's so far away. He's misjudged it, and it's just a little chicken wing, and it's handball.
It's like it's one of those things when you play football, isn't it? Sometimes you just react to it, don't you? Your arm just comes out, and it's.
Pickford didn't do well with at least one goal.
Oh,
Pickford didn't do well
that
this
was the last
season.
goal, wasn't it?
We'll get to that. Pickford hasn't done well at all this whole season. Last season.
Yeah.
You had a bad time if you've let Dominic Solanke bag past you.
Yeah.
Which actually, to be fair, was a pretty decent header, though.
It was, but it's still Dominic Solanke, mate.
You know what? The Pickford thing, now we look back on it, we will look back at Joe Hart, right? And I don't honestly think Joe Hart had one good season at City, even when they won the league. Even when they were winning the league, he was still dropping clangers. And if he wasn't dropping clangers for City, if he wasn't dropping clangers for City, he was dropping them for England. And Pickford's the same thing. How have we watched this season and last season? Have we watched the mistakes Pickford has made? And how is he still England number one? I get that he made those penalty saves against Colombia.
No competition. He's got no competition, has he?
He has got competition. Indeed,
he has now.
Yeah, no, he has now.
That's it.
I'm
still not sure about Nick Pope, but yeah.
It shouldn't. Whoever it is, it shouldn't be Jordan Pickford.
Nick Pope. Nick Pope needs to put a little bit of respect on his name, man. He's kept a number of clean sheets this year. And you can't say that's down to Burnley's defence, because Burnley's defence ain't all that.
Yeah, but it's about the defensive structure. That's the thing where coaching can come into it. And I think the credit there should be given to Sean Dyche rather than the actual players themselves.
Is that future England manager Sean Dyche that we're talking about?
Potentially.
What a show, isn't it?
I said it last week.
Did you send me that yesterday?
No, I said it on the show last week.
You said it on the show? Oh, yeah. It was when I was having connection issues in the Unicorn in Workshop.
Yeah. So, the third goal, though, the Stanislas goal, it's a lovely run. He's jinked inside about 3 or 4 defenders, worked some space, found himself in the box, and he's literally side-footed it like it was a really nice cushioned pass at Pickford, and it's gone through him like he's Swiss cheese. It shouldn't even be troubling him, let alone going in. It's Absolutely. So bad.
It was. It was.
That's it. That's got to be Pickford's time up now for England.
And I've got a feeling it won't be. Because it's almost like he trusts him. Remember that time period where Lingard was getting picked for England every time they were playing, and Welbeck was getting played for England every time. Ross Barkley, at the moment, no matter what he does for club, he will get picked for England and probably start. And it's like,
when you look back on the Joe Hart thing, he kept getting picked. Getting picked.
You think about it, Joe Hart's got over 60 caps or something for England as well. That's how many times he played for England.
But what was Joe Hart's competition? What was his competition for the places?
Fraser Forster, wasn't it? Is it Fraser Forster?
He had a couple of good seasons, didn't he?
Forster had a few good seasons in Celtic, in Scotland. Yeah. He had a good game against Barcelona. But Forster's problem is one that Nick Pope doesn't have. Forster's 6'8", Pope is 6'7". Forster couldn't move. If you put anything in a corner, in a bottom corner, Forster doesn't get down to it. Nick Pope, without sounding like I'm giving him the cliche of Peter Crouch, Nick Pope can move really well. He's very agile for how tall he is. I'd much rather Pope than Pickford.
I'd have Hendo all day, but Nick Pope is a big shout. And Joe Hart, 75 caps.
Nuts.
There you go.
Nuts.
75 caps.
There you go. Yeah. Before we do move on, I will just say this. Piggybacking off Cotton there, which I seem to do a lot. But 4 games ago, Villa were dead and buried, and they've picked up 8 points from those 4 games, right? So I think me and you we were talking a number of weeks ago about how a team at the bottom needed to put a run together. Villa have timed it absolutely perfectly, and they've done that run, didn't they? Yeah. 8 points from 4 games. That's what top 4 material. So
and Bournemouth just left it way too late to put in this sort of performance.
Yeah. And Watford just went in the other direction. So, fair play to
Bournemouth allowed themselves to breathe for a hot minute by getting that 4-1 win over Leicester. No one expected that. They should have been relegated like a couple of weeks ago, but that just changed things whole round like completely, didn't it?
But again, before we move on from the Bournemouth thing, I am very, very, very worried for them as a club. We won't see them in the Premier League for a long time if we ever do again. The minute they've gone down, Josh King's not playing in the Championship.
No.
Callum Wilson's not playing in the Championship. No.
Brooksy, no.
Going to play in the Championship. Ake isn't going to be in the Championship.
No.
They are going to get stripped for parts. I don't even think they'll make a lot of money out of the talent they lose because they've got no negotiating power. The players won't want to stay in the Championship. They're gone.
And if you think about it, their ground is also, again, it's the smallest in the Premier League, and it's going to go to being one of the smallest ones in the Championship as well. So
you haven't got much their revenue
fan base as well to get back up there.
I think Bournemouth are in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Would you be surprised if you saw them go Championship, League 1, League 2?
No. Maybe not as far as League 1 or maybe not League 2, but
I'll be Bradford.
Yeah, Portsmouth. 3,000 as well.
It might be like extended over a few years.
Not back to back.
It's not going to go back to back. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, hey, look at Sunderland. Yeah. Sunderland with their massive stadium, they've gone all the way down to League 1, as does Leeds as well. So Bournemouth, I feel, are probably in trouble, especially when you look at the amount of money that they spent on the players they spent as well.
Solanke.
Jordan Ibe, I know Ibe's leaving now, but what happens now with Eddie Howe?
Stays in the Championship with Bournemouth,
I think he stays. I mean, who's going to come in for him?
I honestly don't buy into the Eddie Howe. I don't buy into the hype.
Exactly.
He's not a bad manager. He's not what everyone makes him out to be.
It's because he's young and English. That's why.
Yeah,
If he was doing the exact same job and was foreign and in his late 50s, early 60s, I don't think anyone would care.
Elias Howlaski, no one would. He probably would have got sacked for getting Bournemouth relegated already. It'd come out today that he'd already been chopped. But yeah, like I said, not buying into the Howe mythology, I'm afraid.
Fair enough. Let's look at the top end of the table now. Chelsea squeezed into the Champions League spot with a 2-0 win over Wolverhampton Wanderers on the final day of the season. Both goals coming in the last couple of moments of the first half. Mason Mount and Ollie G. Both goals were. I quite enjoyed both goals, if I'm honest, and I quite enjoyed what Chelsea did.
Mason Mount.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Well, when we get onto the second goal, obviously I was at work for the first half, so I was watching the live table and I was trying to just think what's going on, blah, blah. And as I was watching it, I just saw Chelsea move above us, and I was like, they've scored. And then literally 30 seconds later, my gaffer at work's like, up 2-0, and I was like, come on, stop that! Like, that won't work. Don't give me that. Fair enough, it was 2-0. The Mason Mount free kick's lovely.
It's very gorgeous. Can we just say though, not a foul?
No.
Soft, yeah.
It's soft, but still got to score it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. You've got to score it, but that was less of a foul than the one on Lacazette.
Yeah. Do you know what annoys me with these free kicks? It's like we said with the Kepa one the other week. You've put your wall there because you know where he's going to put that ball. You know he wants to get it up and over the wall, and it's going to either dip in the bottom corner or it's going to go top corner.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away. It's a great free kick, but keepers doing that baffles me. The second goal, I have got a complaint. With the second goal.
Go
on.
Connor Cody just getting bodied by Giroud to get back. He almost moves out the way for him. Giroud shouldn't be allowed to get to that second chance and finish it. Shouldn't be allowed.
And this is a guy that people keep banging on about, going, "Oh well, Connor Cody, he should be in the England side. He should be at the back. He should be doing this." When you see things like that happen, do you really feel you're?
I'm glad that I'm not the only one that thinks like that, because I know Giroud did really well. He doesn't give up on the ball. He does use his strength, but Cody just gets brushed aside. He almost spins him around for
It was goal side for a lot of it as well.
Reverse fixture, Gav. You were at the reverse fixture, weren't you?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Remember, Tammy Abraham did exactly the same to Connor Cody. Game. Bullied him on two occasions, and he scored both goals, didn't he?
Yeah.
Connor Cody's he's a very average centre half in the Premier League for me. He's not England.
No, he's not. He's not England.
I think the performance from Wolves as well. You could really tell that their season started 370 days ago or whenever. You could tell
it actually started a year ago yesterday.
Yeah, and you could tell that they'd been playing for a full year. They just wanted to fall over the finish line. Kind of looked bereft of ideas. As soon as Chelsea scored, it was kind of like writings on the wall. I'm not saying they rolled over and just took it, but they didn't do enough to try and get back into the game.
No.
Wolves are a team that are built to play leading from the front, aren't they? Because they're a very counter-attacking side, aren't they? You think about players like Moutinho and Neves. They're more of your deep-line playmaker type of midfielders, aren't they? So they're ones who kind of sit back, hit long-range passes to Jimenez and Jota, and then bring on Traore to try and change the game. When they go behind, they haven't really got the creative spark to get back into it, have they?
Cody isn't a defender, I don't think. He was better as a defensive midfielder. Now, when he was coming through the ranks at Liverpool, yes, he was playing a CDM role, but over the last 3 or 4 years, he has been playing centre-half. So I understand where you're coming from, but I don't agree with it now. The guy's at centre-half now.
Yeah.
They've been playing that formation for so long, and he's been playing as part of that 3 for so long. If this was his first season and he was doing these sort of things and making these odd mistakes, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll get that. But no, he's been doing it for like 3-4 years now, maybe even a little bit longer now. Because you've got to remember, was he 27 now as well? So
I think people overestimate the differences in the game of playing centre back to CDM. You don't just move up the pitch a little bit more. You've got it's a way different role.
Yeah.
Is his passing good enough? Even if you had him there as a no-nonsense player just to break up the play, is his passing good enough to play in midfield? Has he got the brain to track runs and keep an eye on everything rather than what he has to do at centre-back? I couldn't really see him at CDM. If there was an injury crisis at Wolves and they didn't have one, maybe, but
yeah,
I couldn't really see it.
That's got to be worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing as well, playing in central defence midfield, is that you're going to receive the ball with your when you facing the goal. When you're a centre half, you receive the ball when you're facing the play, so you can see your players coming onto you. How does he deal with that? So yeah, when we've seen what his mobility's like, Giroud just think about
exactly.
it. Giroud is just out manoeuvred him. Giroud is like.
So Cody at CDM, how many times would a Pogba, would a Decore, would someone like that, would a Rodri just bully him, and you'd just be giving up. You'd be giving up too many chances against your back four because they've got through Cody or because they've bullied him off the ball. I wouldn't want that in my squad.
So Chelsea are pretty much sorted. I personally think that Chelsea need one more centre half, and other than that, I think their squad is good enough to make a decent attempt next year and go quite deep into the Champions League. But Wolves, what are Wolves? What do they need to do?
They need, like Alex said, they need a creative spark in midfield. João Moutinho isn't getting any older. Ruben Neves sits very deep. He's more of a defensive midfielder than he is a creative. Don't get me wrong, he hits rockets, but he doesn't. I don't feel like he sets up enough. And they do need. I'll tell you what, maybe a Jesse Lingard transfer in the summer. Maybe he goes there and refines his form and rejuvenates his career, and he is the attacking player that Wolves have for linking up play. Maybe not, but
maybe they could go rob Will Hughes or something from.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's it. I was just thinking that. Or if you rate him so much, Buendia wouldn't be a bad signing for Wolves.
Buendia would be a great signing for someone like Wolves.
Talking of signings, though. Sorry, carry on, Alex.
I was going to say, if they win the Europa League and they get the money, then why not Jack Grealish?
They'll be playing Champions League football. That would be a savage move. Jack Grealish leaving Villa to go to Wolves.
No, I don't think he'd do it.
It's not going to happen. I won't see it happening, but yeah. But it's that kind of player they need, though.
Top Cameron.
Talking transfers, Mason Mount scoring that free kick. I worry for Mount next season. You've got Ziyech and possibly Kai Havertz coming in. Not happening. Yeah. There's no way he's going to fit everyone in the squad. Because obviously you'll have Werner up front, he'll play on his own, and then you'll have wingers, and then you'll have Havertz and Ziyech.
In which case, then Wolves wouldn't be bad in taking him on loan for the season.
Possibly.
Interesting. Let's talk about your boys, Cotton.
Yay!
Leicester 0, Man United 2. It was the winner takes all game, and Manchester United did exactly that. Goals from Fernandes from the spot, and Jesse Lingard with his first goal or assist this season in the league. And there were many people's bets that got screwed over because there were odds at the beginning of the season for Lingard to not get a goal or an assist all season at 125-1. Gamble responsibly, boys and girls. And also, later on in the season, it was as short as 66-1, or should you say as long as 66-1. And it's a couple of people that ended up missing out on this with the last kick of the Premier League season. How savage is that? But it was a bit of a slow burner, this game, I felt, and it didn't really seem to get more exciting until the second half began.
Good, because as I said, I was at work. My gaffer, massive props to him. He literally said, he was like, I can't stand to see you like this. Go home and watch the second half. So I'm not even joking, I'd taken my trainers to work. So as soon as he said that, I was like Charlie with a golden ticket running through the village of Malton, mate. I literally ran home, got in for the second half. But yeah, honestly, just having to check on the scores at work and just keep track of a 0-0 was horrible. I've got people trying to warm me up. Oh, it's 2-0 Leicester. So yeah, but then even when I got home and was watching it, it was still pretty nerve-wracking. Matic, I don't think Matic had a very great game. I think he kept getting caught out. I think the pace in the Leicester team was just too much. Every time I looked up, he was getting beaten for pace. But then the inevitable happened, and we got our record 14th penalty of the season. Stonewall penalty.
Manchester United.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't argue with it though. Like I said to you earlier, you could give a penalty on Johnny Evans or Wes Morgan.
Yeah.
But going back to that penalty thing, I can think of the Villa one was a bit suspect, but the rest of them penalties.
The Villa one should never have been a penalty.
Yeah,
but all the others, to be honest, I can't think of one where I'm like, So
I can
they
think of
all have been.
We've missed out on a few as well that probably should have been given.
Yeah.
There was. Do you know what? There was an incident in this game, the Brandon Williams one, when I thought that was a penalty and it wasn't even VAR'd. So swings and roundabouts. But Bruno stepped up and did his little penalty routine and scored. I was pretty worried about it, to be fair, because he looked tired, and I wondered how much that would affect him. But
I don't know whether this comment is a bit of banter or not. Please enlighten me if it is. James Justin, right-sided centre-half for playing right-sided centre-half. So they played like a 3-5-2 yesterday, which does not suit Leicester. And Leicester I think they just need to go back to what they know. Because the second half of the season, they've messed around with formations way too often. Yes, they've had a couple of injuries, but they've also got enough players there to fit back into the slots that are missing. Yeah. So, for instance, that young lad who's coming through now, the Thomas guy at left back.
Yeah.
So they've got a left back, so you don't need to worry about playing three at the back when you've got him. Do you see what I mean? And, like when Vardy was missing, they were playing like Harvey Barnes through the middle. Why? When they've got Isaac Perez who can do that job and Iheanacho. I know they're both not as good as Vardy, but why did they change so much?
Wes Morgan looked so far off the pace yesterday. There was a couple of times where it was just a simple through ball and Martial was in. Schmeichel was so good at coming off his line. And there was a few times that Schmeichel came out and gobbled up the ball before Martial could get onto it. But the signs were there that Morgan was going to get caught, and they both got caught out for the penalty. It's Leicester needs some reinforcements.
Yeah, Alex, what are you saying about Leicester?
I think that they're glad that the season is over. I don't know whether they're going to look at the Europa League as a blessing or as a curse now, because they've qualified for the group stage. They don't have to go through the qualifying stage like Wolves do, right. do they? They've actually gone straight into the Europa League for next year. So that's a guaranteed already 6 games, a minimum of 6 games that they're going to play. Now, how are they going to cope playing Thursday, Sunday, when they haven't done it before, right? And as we've said there, Brendan Rodgers has chopped and changed his squad and his tactics, his formations quite regularly, which is going to probably happen next season as well, and it's really affected them.
Well, they're going to have to.
Wouldn't be surprised if they don't, and they're not going to get the Champions League money now, so bearing that in mind, and players that they have playing for them, probably players like you think of Tielemans, I suppose James Maddison maybe, and Ndidi. These players are going to think, well, I'm a Champions League quality caliber kind of player. I want to go play for a Champions League caliber kind of club, not a Europa League club. When they come knocking, or if they do come knocking, are they going to turn them down because they're invested in the Leicester project? So I am a little bit worried for Leicester at the start of next season, how they get going.
Isn't it weird though? Because like, if you said to any Leicester fan at the beginning of the season, you're going to come 5th next year, they would be like, I'll have that all day. All day. But it just feels like a kick in the teeth now, doesn't it?
Well, the thing is, we've both been in this situation. You know you don't want it when on a Thursday night you're flying out to Turkmenistan, and then you've got a big game on the Sunday, and then sometimes even then you've got a Premier League game you play on the Sunday, you've got a game on the Wednesday or something, and you just don't want it, and especially. Listen, the Europa League is still a cup to win. It's still a European trophy, but do people see it as valuable enough to risk getting the squad players fatigued, or if you've got a big game on the Sunday, are you going to put the kids out in the Europa League? And we have been using the Europa League as a platform for the kids.
Arsenal put their second string out quite a lot of times when they've done it.
And then at the end of this game, absolute. Johnny Evans, he's still a red. He's an absolute true Man United fan. He got himself. He gave us the penalty, and then controversially, I don't know if the Johnny Evans tackle on McTominay is a straight red.
It is a straight red all day.
Okay, well,
day.
let me
I think you might just be trying to be nice because you little smug self. We're playing Champions League football next year, so
let me rephrase it. When I first saw it, I thought he's off because I thought that's his second yellow card. I didn't instantly think like, oh, that's disgusting.
Nah. Yeah,
and then
that was
when they slowed it back and stuff, I thought, yeah, it's over the ball. It's nowhere near the ball. It's at the time I didn't think it was that bad, but it's definitely it definitely would have been a second yellow, so he's off. And then it's the 97th minute. I understand that Casper's trying to keep the ball because he wants to get a quick counter attack going and just get back up the field. Why are you trying to Cruyff turn like that? Because
it was Jesse Lingard. That's why.
What is going through your head?
I'd want to do the same.
No, and obviously then Jesse Lingard taps into an empty net. I'm very surprised we didn't get a little dance out of him. I'm not gonna lie. I was fully expecting a little Jesse Lingard dance, but that was it. 2-0 Champions League sewn up. And third place finish sewn up as well. Which
that's another thing.
I'm gonna not dampen my enthusiasm, and I've said it a few times in the last few weeks. It goes to show you how poor the quality of opposition for Liverpool's title push has been this season, when we've had one of the worst starts and worst half of the seasons I've ever had, and we finished third. You're going to tell me that Manchester United have been the third best team in the league this season?
Oh, when you look at it over the course of the year, well, this is the thing. This is the thing I was saying beforehand. You look at Leicester's first half of the season, and they're a shoo-in for Champions League football. But they didn't do it over 38 games. When you look at Man United's first half of the season, they were languishing in the mid-table. And in the second half of the season, they've been. If you put Leicester's first half of the season and Man United's second half of the season together, that would have been the perfect response to Liverpool and to Man City. But to be fair, other than those two, no one really did anything.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Liverpool are what, 20-something points clear of City?
28 points.
And then how many?
18 points, sorry, 18.
And then we're obviously, I think we're, what are we, like 10, 15?
20, yeah, you're 15 points short of Man City.
And down in third, and it's like, I'm glad we finished third. I mean, you don't win any extra prizes for it. That means we get automatic. We don't have to play qualifiers for the Champions League, which is nice. But
not just Chelsea anymore. They changed it now, haven't they? All four English sides have got Champions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because England's coefficients are so strong now that the four go straight into the Champions League. Yeah.
Either way, I think us finishing third does show that the rest of the team and the league has been a bit weak this season.
It reminds me of the last time United won the title.
Yeah.
The 12-13 season, and Man United stormed to that league, and
no one else
even United fans were like, "We won that."
Yeah.
All right. You know, and that's not any disrespect, because obviously you're going to celebrate winning the biggest club trophy that is available in England, which is the Premier League. But it's just so unconvincing. For Liverpool, it's different because it's the first one they've won in 30 years. But, you know, if Liverpool had won the league 3 of the last 5 seasons, for argument's sake, and then won the title this way, I think they would be a bit like...
Yeah, it's another tick on it's another tally. That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
Let's talk about those guys down there, the old bin dippers. Man City, Newcastle 1, Liverpool 3. Dwight Gale scoring inside the opening minute. And then,
tell you what, Liverpool not waking up and coming out half asleep for games has been a recurring theme since the lockdown. They just don't look at the races until 20-30 minutes, or until they get a goal. Other than who did they go 3-0 up against? Was it Brighton?
Brighton.
They came out the traps against them. But there's been so many games this season where they've caused their own problems and their own issues early on in games.
Do you think that's something to do with Liverpool being able to be got at, or has it got anything to do with we've won the title, we don't really care anymore?
Column A, column B. Bit of each.
It's a bit of both. I would say it's more column B than column A, but it's we know you only have to drop your performance levels by like 2% and you get beaten, or you, as you say, you come out lethargic. And Yeah, I agree. Again, Cotton, they have been very lethargic in the majority of these games that they've played since lockdown. We'll see what they're like come again in when there's a season. I think Gary
September.
Mack said 6 weeks time, isn't it? 6 weeks
Mm.
from today or yesterday, whenever it was.
But that just shows you Liverpool they do have that. They've got such a good squad that even when they do go a goal down and come out slow, they can still win a game 3-1.
They started the game without the main front three, and they brought them all on because they can. Van Dijk for his fifth. Origi, yeah. I'm actually, you know what? I'll sort of give Origi a little bit of stick, but if you're not going to be starting every game, he's the perfect guy to have on your bench, really, isn't he? Because
because he doesn't argue.
He don't mind.
Yeah, I get that, but I wouldn't say he was good enough to be a full impact player. Like we had this conversation the other week. They would love someone with a sharper goal threat off the bench than Origi.
Who would be happy to sit on the bench behind those three?
Nobody should be happy to be sitting on the bench.
Yeah, of course, but like someone like Giroud doesn't mind. You can tell he doesn't mind.
Know.
You know, he's used to it.
I feel like Giroud wants to start more games. To be honest with you, Gav.
Yeah. Well, like Cotton said, everyone wants to start more games, but you haven't got a squad of 11. You're not Tottenham. Tottenham have got a squad of for many years have had a squad of 11. When you look at the bigger picture, I don't think.
If this was Barcelona and they just won the Champions League and they just won La Liga, and Suarez was their main striker, would you think that Origi is good enough to come off the bench and be their impact player in the Champions League and the league?
No.
There you go. No, it's no different, is it? They've just won the Champions League. They've just won the league. That they will be looking at someone better to come off the bench than Origi.
But would Suarez, for instance, just say Suarez was back at Liverpool right now, who would he start ahead of?
Who would he start ahead of?
I would say Firmino.
Yeah, Firmino. Yeah, all day.
But then, like what Firmino does to involve Mane and Salah. He doesn't have to score goals for the amount that he creates.
Suarez's hold-up play and interlinking plays is just as good as Firmino's, if not better.
I'd tell you who would be a perfect player for Liverpool. I think Harry Kane would be a perfect player for Liverpool.
I was thinking more along the lines of Lautaro Martinez from Inter, but he would have to be starting every game.
But
I don't actually think that is a bad shout, because his link-up plays is.
Lautaro is amazing. He's unreal. He won't be at Inter for long. In fact,
Kane.
Kane. Lautaro, I was going to say, I reckon.
Well, I like them both.
That's a Suarez replacement. That's perfect. Lautaro will go Barca.
I haven't seen Lautaro Martinez a lot, so I can't comment on him. But just obviously from watching Harry Kane, as I say, his link-up play is great. He carries a goal threat. He's good in the air, so he'd get on the end of those crosses from Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think he would be a perfect player for Liverpool.
Yeah, I agree. And plus, Tottenham haven't got Champions League football, so if anyone wants to get Kane and they're serious about it, this is the season. This is the season to go for it.
Like when people go, you want to get a player who's going to add 20 goals to your season, whatever. But when that happens, it normally takes goals away from anywhere else. I genuinely feel that Mane and Salah will score the same amount of goals, and there will be 20 goals coming from Harry Kane.
Yeah.
If he play there.
But in this game, Mane's goal was the most Sadio Mane goal I've ever seen. It's it's what he does. That is his Arjen Robben trait. That's Mane's one. That's what he does well. Cuts inside, finesses it. It just floats as well, and the way it doesn't even go top bins. It rolls on the inside. The side of the net just caresses the ball as it tucks round. It was
that's the sound that I love.
Yeah. Just a ripple . Yeah, it was a great goal.
The sound that Alex loves is in this game. Burnley 1, Brighton 2. What's your favourite sound? Tweet us at Top Football. Burnley 1.
Before we get loads of dodgy tweets about their favourite sound. Favourite football.
Favourite sound is football.
Yeah.
Chris Wood. He scored 14 goals for Burnley. It's the highest amount of goals in the top flight for Burnley any one individual has scored since 1975.
that crept up on me because when I heard them say that yesterday, I was like, he's got 14 league goals this season.
Yeah, I didn't realise that either.
That's actually not a bad return, you know.
I think it's very good. I think he's done well. Burnley aren't known for creating 50 clear chances a game, are they? So
exactly, yeah. In the Sean Dyche system, that's what worth probably another 5-6 goals if you think about it.
In the Sean Dyche system, when you're not 6'9" as well, like he's not just a big old target man, is he? Like I think he's done really well there.
Basuma's goal.
Yeah, that's the football sound I'm referring to. The ping that you get off the crossbar. Oh,
yeah.
The fact that he wins the tackle, he wins the ball back before the shot. He wins it. It was a big tackle, and then it kind of bounces around, and then it comes back to him, and he just thinks, last game of the season, might as well. If you don't shoot, you don't score.
I've got a lot of time for him anyway. I do like a lot of Basuma. I really do. Called him out a couple of times over the last couple of years. And one in particular, when myself and Alex went down to the penultimate game of the season last year, Basuma was just bossing the middle of the park. And I was like, yeah, he's a good player. He's got a very good engine on him. And then Aaron Connolly, he scored as well. And it's his first goal since, it's only his third goal of the season. Simple as that. He scored a brace against Spurs in about October time, and everyone was going, oh yeah, look at Connolly, he's going to be big, and he's played a lot of games since then, and he's not produced. So he is still young. He is only 18. He might have just turned 19, but as far as I'm aware, he's still a teenager. So as everyone should know, my ruling is if you're a teenager, it's okay. As soon as he turns 20, and if he's still doing this sort of stuff, then it's not good enough. But as a teenager, we give him a bly.
It was a very surprising result. Obviously, Burnley's form recently has been pretty good, and I did not see Brighton getting a result here at all.
But Burnley finishing 10th in the table, level on points with Sheffield United. So we'll ask that question again: who's had the better season, Sheffield United or Burnley?
Sheffield United. Burnley are established. They know what the Premier League's about. They've been in it long enough. They've got the players that have been in it long enough. I think for Sheffield United to come in and have a debut season where they're walking into the unexpected, I think I'd say they've had the better season. I think they've also finished way above their expectations, whereas Burnley would think they'd want to be around mid-table. So I'd say Sheffield United.
Yeah, same for all of those reasons. Because if you'd asked 30 people at the start of the season, name me 3 teams that are going down, 28 of them, 29 of them would have had Sheffield United in their 3. So for them to finish 9th, was it?
9th, yeah.
That's what, 11 places, 10 places above where they were predicted to finish. And before I don't know if you're going to go on at all, but what did you guys think to the Burnley guy that was disallowed?
One of those. It happens, doesn't it? I think it's a bit harsh.
I think it was
the right call, but yeah.
But do you know what? What was I going to say? I was going to say something about Sheffield United. There might be some Sheffield United fans that will disagree with me because they would have liked European football. I think for them not to have European football next year might be a little bit of a blessing because now they can focus more on the league. They haven't got to play silly amounts of games. That they can just get the season done. Play kids.
I think getting European football would actually help them out.
You reckon?
Just for reinforcements. I can't see many players that are really going to be wanting to go there right now. But if they play European football, it's more of a pull.
I don't know. If Sheffield United got into the Champions League, I could see your argument.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know many players that would be thinking, oh, great, Sheffield United are now playing AZ Alkmaar on a Thursday. I better go play there instead. So I think they'll be happy to just next season to just establish themselves again because we don't know. Next season they could instantly first 10 games in find themselves in a relegation scrap. So the last thing you want is to be in a relegation scrap and fly to Turkey or wherever on a Thursday night when you've got a relegation 6-pointer on a Sunday. So I think. Again, they might not agree with me, and it would have been nice for him to go into Europe, and they've probably got a bit more money with sponsorship and stuff. But it's not the end of the world for him.
I
They
think
did
what
lose
Sheffield United
yesterday,
should do-
3-1 to Southampton.
I was going to say, I think what Sheffield United should do, they should concentrate on getting the best players from the Premier League, from the Championship. That should be where they're looking to shop for their market, because those players are going to want to come play for Sheffield United because they're in the Premier League, and them not playing in Europe is a massive thing for them. I think it's going to be a plus.
I'm not going to lie, I didn't see this result coming either.
No, Southampton 3, Sheffield United 1. But Sheffield United, since lockdown, we don't know which Sheffield United side was going to, which Sheffield United side is going to show up. Shay Adams now can't stop scoring. That's 4 in his last 5 games. So
correct me if I'm wrong, because I watched these earlier. Was the Lundstrom goal? Was that another case of like chocolate wrists? Because I just remember seeing quite a few this weekend where keepers should have been saving things.
No, I don't think so. I think it was a nice sweeping move. I think we could probably question a little bit of the back line there from Southampton to allow the ball to get to Lundstrom in the first place. But I wouldn't be. I'd be happy with that goal. Obviously, if I conceded it, I'd be annoyed by it.
I think they might. I think Sheffield United. I don't know if there's a chance to get them 2-1 up or whatever it was. But Billy Sharp had an insane chance. He's about 3 yards out of goal. If he puts it down the side of the near post, it probably goes in. If not, he's got a player across from him that he can square it to, and ends up absolutely hammering it at the keeper.
Yeah. And that could have made a difference. Yeah, that would have made it 2-1 at that point.
I think it might have been one of the Adams goals. I think Henderson gets beat at his near post a bit too easy for one of the goals.
Yeah.
As well.
Shay Adams, though, I don't think it's Premier League quality. I think we need to see what he does next year because he's had a lot of game time. He's played 30 games this year in the league. He's scored 4 and got 3 assists. I don't think that's enough for how much money they've paid for him. And Danny Ings, he took the penalty, and Shay Adams came off a minute after. Now, I'm sorry, there weren't enough time for Danny Ings to be thinking about golden boot at that point. If it was early on in the game, I'd be like, yeah, but with 6 minutes to go, let Shay get his hat-trick, man.
Yeah, I mean,
let him do it.
Yeah, I suppose. But if you're a goal scorer, you want the goal, don't you? Really? I mean, if Danny Ings is on penalties, tough luck to Shay Adams, isn't it? Really?
Very true.
I'll tell you what. Because if he would have given him that penalty, you would have half of the people going, "Oh, it was a nice gesture," but then you'd have half the people questioning Ings' mentality. He's a striker. Why doesn't he want to get the goals? Why is he taking the ball off him?
You can never win, can you? Can never win. There's only a couple of games left. The boys up the road from the Arsenal, that's Tottenham Hotspur. They drew 1 apiece with Crystal Palace away from home. This was a very nothing game, but at the same time, it had a little bit of something on because of the Wolves situation. Now, Wolves losing to Palace got Spurs into 6th spot. Now, if you'd asked any Spurs fan, would they have come top 6 in November? You'd be hard pushed to even dream of it. So
if you've asked me if
this is a relatively successful season for Tottenham now, coming as high as they did.
Gav, if you'd have asked me if Spurs would have finished top 6 3 weeks ago, I'd have told you no.
Yeah.
Obviously, the catalyst was beating you guys, and then they started grinding out some results, some proper Mourinho just see the game out results, and they've
giant
pushed
victory against Leicester.
Yeah, and they've pushed on, and they've got their European place.
I know it's difficult asking an Arsenal fan this, but as a Tottenham fan, if you were a Tottenham fan, would you be happy with the 6th place finish?
Based on what they've done in the last couple of years, no, I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't think that was progress. Is it? It's not progress. They were in the Champions League. They got to the Champions League final. They've qualified for the Champions League for last 3 or 4 years now, and now all of a sudden they've dropped down to 6th, and they're celebrating getting into Europa League. It's like, where's the direction of the club going? It feels like it's going more that way than that way.
We all know that Mourinho is a gaffer that has to have money. So
yeah,
I honestly don't think he would even come close to accepting this job if he wasn't guaranteed a packet at the end of the season. So do Spurs fans worry that they don't have Champions League football for keeping top players, i.e. Kane, Dele Alli, etc.?
Dele Alli passes as top
I was just about to say that, Alex. I was saying we touched on Kane earlier. Like, if this would be the season for anyone to buy him, because does Kane want to be playing Europa League football? And the Ali thing, I think his stock has dropped so much in the last season or two. I don't think they'd class him as a star player anymore. I mean, he was when he burst onto the scene, but I don't think they'd class him as a star player anymore.
Is there anyone who is star? This is not an Arsenal fan digging out Spurs, and anyone who knows me should know that I'm better than that. Do Spurs have any star players left?
Yes, Heung-min Son and Harry Kane.
Oh yeah, my bad. I did actually forget about Son for a hot minute. Other than those two, I like Bergwijn.
Do you know what they've got? When I say mediocre, I don't mean mediocre. I mean they're not world class, but they're very good players. Sissoko, he's not going to win the Ballon d'Or, but he's not a terrible player. Lucas, he's not going to win personal accolades, but he's a half decent player. He gets the job done. Like you said, Bergwijn coming in, he's decent. Lamela, again, not the best player in the world, but not terrible. And Ndombele, well, we haven't really seen much of him, but there's not much to judge. But they don't have bad players. They just don't seem to have world-class players other than Son and Kane. And that sounds like we're having a dig at them. But, I mean, you could go back to front, and I don't know if I could tell you many are world-class, even including the goalkeeper. Lloris,
I don't think he's world-class. He never
the last 2 or 3
seasons,
he's been dropping clangers. And
I was going to say, when a goalkeeper drops clangers quite regularly, you can't consider him world-class. You can't.
No. There's no way you can. It's what he should say about Pepe Reina all the time. Liverpool fans are giving it, but Pepe Reina's got this. Pepe Reina's kept X amount of clean sheets. But he'll keep a clean sheet this week, clanger next week. Clean sheet the following week, clanger next week. And he was doing that over so many years for Liverpool.
And that is why I wouldn't class De Gea as a world-class goalkeeper anymore.
No, he's not. He had 3 good seasons, David De Gea.
He had 3 very good seasons, but yeah, he's not world-class anymore. But yeah, again, that's not us taking a dig at Spurs or anything. That's just the way I see it. But speaking of Heung-min Son, before we move on from Spurs, I think his ridiculous goal won BBC's goal of the season, if you remember which one.
We'll talk about that in a couple of seconds.
Okay. I was trying to lead you into.
We've still got this game to talk about as well.
And do you know what? Quickly before we start this game, I said in the preview, I said 6-0 City. I said a Sterling hat trick, but I said Sterling hat trick and then Jesus, De Bruyne and Mahrez.
Yeah.
So well, did I say 7-0? So I got the goal scorers right.
Not far off. I feel sorry for Kevin De Bruyne, because the last goal from Mahrez, it's sort of like the penultimate goal from Mahrez, it sort of like bounced off KDB, and then Mahrez finished it, so it doesn't go down as an assist, but he was the last person to touch the ball. Now, if it did go down as an assist, he'd be the record holder now. But now he just ties the record now.
There was another goal this season that he didn't get the assist for that he clearly should have, if my memory serves me correctly. But not worrying about his assist, his goal in this game, the footwork, and it was just literally like something from a computer game, like just silky footwork, one touch, moves it over to the other foot, then kind of does like a little choppy turn to get it onto his other foot, and then it's just...
Do you know what it was like? It was very Ronaldinho-esque.
Yeah.
That little footwork.
The minute he hits that ball as well, you know it's not going anywhere other than the top corner. Like, no chance it's going in, and you know it.
And it does the little side, the football goes around the side netting, and I
love that.
This isn't just a United fan, because I'm saying it about a City player, so it's not biased. De Bruyne not winning Player of the Year over Henderson is an absolute outrage, man. I know he's the captain.
I like the idea that Henderson is, man. I've got a lot of time for Hendo.
But has he been a better footballer than Kevin De Bruyne this season?
Footballer, no. Impact, yes. Because when you look at every time Henderson hasn't played, where have Liverpool been at? They've been so lost, and it's mad considering how well Liverpool have done all season in the Premier League. But every time it's not played, Liverpool struggled, man.
Okay, then give
Blue.
give Henderson the David Brent Leader of the Year award.
Yeah.
When I said to you, who's been a better footballer?
That's a footballer. Yeah.
So, yeah. So who should win Footballer of the Year?
Exactly.
It's again.
Exactly.
It's Liverpool because I'm passionately advocating someone for City, but De Bruyne.
I feel like they've given it to Henderson for like lifetime achievement award.
Well, it's a bit like when Ryan Giggs won it that year. He didn't. He did deserve it, but he'd been playing for Man United for that amount of time without any awards. So it's like, there you go, Ryan.
Here's the biggest cliche to sum it up. It's Roy of the Rovers stuff. He's captain. He's put up with a lot. They've won the league for the first time. Give him the award, and it's wrong.
Yeah,
there you go.
It is wrong. It's massively wrong.
Well, over the next week, the shows that we've got coming along. So this was the game day 38, the final day of the season that you've been watching. On Thursday, it's our top 5. So tune in for that Thursday, 5 p.m. The details for that will be on all of our social media links. Watch along for the FA Cup final.
When is it? Is it on a Sunday?
Saturday, Saturday, 5:15.
5:15. I might be able to. If it's a Sunday at 5:15, I might be able to squeak work for that.
Saturday, yeah. So we might do a watch. We might do a watch along for the FA Cup final. We'll see what happens. But next week, Monday at 5 p.m, it is the Two Up Top Awards. The year of football and our awards ceremony of what's been going on in the Premier League, and I think I might even dress up for it.
Yeah, I think obviously we only kind of decided this today, so we're kind of going on the fly. But I think what we might do is with the categories and stuff that me and you and Alex will come together and pick. If we set like a top 4 players that are going to win it, or a goal of the season award, and we'll put it out to vote and see what everyone else thinks. But then we kind of still get the say.
So we'll have the 2 top answers and
see what they want to do. Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll also do a 2 up top 11 of the season, and again we'll do a voting for that and see how close our personal ones get to the people watching at home.
Oh, there you go. Well, there you go. So, yeah, plenty coming on over the next few days. And did you know, if you Googled 2 Up Top, if you put 2 Up Top into Google, our name comes up first. See you later, guys.